Hey everyone, it's Sunday, March 19th.
The time is 1:51 p.m.
And it's 0 degrees Celsius.
And I'm here inside the Royal Ontario Museum with Mr. Johnny Strides, who's behind the camera. And we also have Yahia here, and Alex, and Sepand.
Hello.
And they just joined us for the St. Patrick's Parade, St. Patrick's Day Parade, even though it's not St. Patrick's Day.
I know, I had the same dilemma with my title.
So I'll put links to their channels down in the description if you want to check them out.
Yeah, definitely.
And for this one, I'll be going for a walk with Ken around downtown. I'm not entirely sure where we'll be going, but I want to thank you guys for joining, and thanks for doing the intro.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure we'll run into each other again sometime.
Yeah, for sure,
So-
for sure.
That'll be exciting.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right.
This is a fun day.
It was.
All right, later, guys.
Enjoy your walk, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right, take care, guys.
Cheers.
Ready to go, Mr. Continuum?
I'm ready. Time to go freeze.
And this is Bloor Street West, at the east end of the fabulous Annex neighborhood. And I was just out live streaming that parade alongside Ken, who was doing it as well. And I think we both nearly froze to death.
Yeah, standing in one spot for over an hour and a half when it's -5 with a wind chill of -10 or more. Yeah, you feel it. My feet, my hands were all frozen solid.
Oh, I definitely felt it. I wore like thermal socks, long underwear. I tried to come prepared, but that was pretty cold.
Yep.
This is Queen's Park here.
But now that we're walking, I think we'll be fine.
That was actually my first time meeting Yahia.
Was it? Oh, okay.
I have met Alex before, and Sepand, of course.
Yeah, I've met all three.
So how about we go along Bloor Street and then we head down Bay, maybe to Charles, and we can walk east on Charles for a bit and see where that takes us.
Sounds good.
This was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was planning on making a video after the parade, and I just thought since Ken's here, and it's been a while
It has been.
since we've done one of these.
Yep.
I last did a collaboration with Henry a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I watched that. I enjoyed it.
He's a very nice guy. He's down at Comic-Con live streaming. That's another Toronto YouTuber. There seems to be a lot of us these days.
He was smart and stayed out of the cold today for his live stream.
Although I think out of all of us, he would have been best prepared for it, since he tends to go out in freezing weather with just a t-shirt on.
Yep. I thought I had a high tolerance for cold, but yeah, I don't think I could pull that off, you know?
Well, you were right. Just standing there is so much worse than trying to walk through it.
Yeah.
Like, we both recorded in like blizzards, and we've been okay.
Yep.
But give us -3 degrees weather and tell us you can't move.
Yeah, walking around in a blizzard recording, I actually start to feel hot because it's a struggle when you're trying to walk through the snow and everything. It's like exercise.
I find it's kind of fun. Time goes by quickly. The chat's really engaged. What do you think will become of the old pottery barn?
That's been vacant for 5 years or more now? How long?
Yeah, it's got such a unique facade too.
Yeah, I don't know what could really go in that space unless they just completely strip it down and
Oh, it says
Redo
for
the-
lease, and there's a lease sign on top.
well, there's a leased sign.
But I also think like
Is that the space next door or is that the one?
Yeah, I think it's the one next door.
Okay. That's a huge space, just sticking out like a sore thumb.
There's Ken with his Freshco bag.
And I guess a new Rolex boutique is opening right here. The new Rolex boutique opening soon.
I'll be sure to go there and pick up a few watches.
And this is leased also, so it's good to see some of these spaces are filling up with new retail.
Oh, this one has a development notice in front of it. 79 stories. I know where the H&M used to be, just to the east of here. They're planning a really super tall building.
Yeah, I saw that, like 94 stories or something ridiculous like that.
And it's kind of like the ones on Billionaires Row in New York City where it's like pencil thin.
The thing is, though, people who purchased condo units in the one right next door, those that have west-facing views that they probably paid enormous amounts of money for, on the upper floors, they're going to lose their view when that new building goes up right beside them.
I bet those east-facing units in that new building would go for a bit less, given that you're going to be looking right into the one.
Right. Like, imagine dropping $1 million or more on a condo on an upper floor of a landmark skyscraper, expecting you're going to have some of the best views in the city, and then next thing you know, another building blocks your view.
Wait, when did you get your ride?
I'd be pretty annoyed about that, but
I would be too, but all things considered, if
that's life in the
you're
big city,
if
right?
you're in the position to be buying that unit, I don't feel so bad for you.
Yeah. And you can't expect your view to last forever, so
You can't?
it's the risk you take.
Tell that to NIMBYs. I bought this house in 1970. I demand the neighborhood stay the same and never change.
Right.
It should be exactly as I want it. The plague on cities all over the world. There's a view south down Bay Street. Seems to be a good crowd along Bloor.
Yeah, and Italy there, it looks pretty busy.
All right, so I think we will turn off Bloor and just head south the block here. Again, Ken has a channel at the Ken Continuum.
That's right.
What's going on with your second channel?
The Ken continues. I'd say a whole lot of nothing currently. I haven't uploaded anything onto there for a good year or so.
Yeah, if someone asked me if they should start a second channel, I would probably say don't expect to put much time or effort into it.
Yeah, my other channel is just there for no particular reason. It was actually my first channel that I ever had. And then once I started the Ken Continuum channel, I just abandoned that other channel. But then over time, I renamed it to Ken Continues, just in case I wanted a second channel connected to my main channel. Similar to what you did with Johnny Stumbles. I just haven't put any effort or work into making that channel, you know, do anything interesting. So it's still,
Yeah, but you have it.
yeah, it's there if I need it,
You can put your like B-sides there,
right?
outtakes. How's Megan's channel doing?
Yeah, she just passed 500 subscribers recently, so it's progressing.
If you're unfamiliar, Megan is Ken's better half.
Yeah, Megan Sandor is her channel.
I'll try to link that one in the description. Got a lot of links to put in the description. And we have made it to Charles Street West, so let's go east here. Charles Street kind of falls between like a major street downtown and a side street. It's not quite one or the other. Ken might disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. It does tend to have a lot of traffic, both pedestrian and vehicular, especially when you're walking on the stretch between Yonge and Church, or even further Yonge and Jarvis, because there's so many new condo buildings along that stretch that the population density is just enough there to drive all these, you know, various concentrations of people in cars, basically. People use it as a shortcut also, I find, when they don't want to drive on Bloor Street.
Makes sense. There's the Economy House. We just got hit with a strong gust of wind from the north. Looks like they still might have part of Yonge Street closed off. I see police cars rolling around. The St. Patrick's Day Parade went along Bloor Street over to Yonge, and then I think south down to Queen. And it finished up at Nathan Phillips Square, if I'm not mistaken.
Have you ever tried that pizza place right there, 8 Mile?
No,
No, me neither.
but I've been to 7 West,
Oh yeah?
which is a neat restaurant right next to it, and I think it's 24 hours.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
It looks like they just opened up Yonge Street to regular traffic. And there's the brass rail where you can see Ken moonlighting on weekends.
Yeah. Friday night, 11 o'clock.
What are we doing here? Maybe. Ken is the MC. Introducing Lala. All right, where are we going? I'll let you choose the next direction.
Do you want to walk south on Yonge to Wellesley?
Sure. That works. Am I walking you home? Is that how this works?
Well, we're going to walk you to a subway station. We just don't know which one yet.
How kind of you.
Yes,
Chivalry isn't dead.
that's right.
There's an empty storefront. I wonder what's going in there.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't today like the last day of winter? Or-
Yep. Today is the last day. And I think the forecast for tomorrow is to be warm, so at least spring will come in properly.
It'll be a video opportunity, the first day of spring.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical of Toronto streets.
And you know what? I just remembered, I think 3 years ago today, I did my first video of the lockdown when
Oh, yeah.
everything completely shut down. All non-essential businesses and whatnot. I think it was March 19th because I went out and did a video that day.
It's hard to think so much of time and videos on our channel were from that period.
Yeah.
Seems to be some not so excellent sidewalk etiquette going on. Well, it's certainly nice to be in the post-pandemic era. Everything's open again. All the events are coming back.
Yep. It's kind of bizarre to think back to what things were like for so long.
I bet the Taste of the Danforth organizers are really kicking themselves for canceling it last year.
Yeah, I laughed when I heard that it's back on again this year. I was like, oh, so
So you could have
yeah.
done it last
Yeah.
year.
It's like so much for your reasons, because the reasons haven't changed since last year.
Nope, the bike lanes are still there. They're
Yep.
still going to go with Cafe TO. Oh, so you're NIMBYs. Okay.
That's it.
You want to get rid of the bike lanes. It's not like there's 10 other festivals just like it around the city.
Yep.
And I think the business owners would rather have their patio space than that festival anyways. Because they're saying they might have to remove it all. But hopefully it comes back, just for the sake of the people that enjoyed it. But I thought it was kind of silly that
Yeah.
they pulled the plug on it.
Yeah. And did you hear that College Street, the bike lanes there are going to be made like permanent protected bike lanes? Did you hear that?
I haven't, but that's excellent news. Really, all bike lanes should be separate.
Yeah.
Like, bikes and pedestrians should never mix. And whenever possible, bike lanes should be separated from vehicle traffic. They're just three totally different modes of getting around that shouldn't be in conflict with one another.
I'm not sure when they're going to work on that. Maybe this coming spring, summer.
What do you think of this thing?
I always don't know what to make of it. I don't particularly like it. Sometimes I just think, yeah, I like it, you know, no matter how strange it may look, like for other public art, but that one I just don't get that sense of anything to appreciate about it.
It's just a big piece of jagged metal?
It just looks like, what the heck is it? Like,
I still see flashing lights up ahead. I think the police have blocked Yonge Street off south of College. It's crazy to think the parade still probably hasn't wrapped up yet.
oh no, yeah.
Has this new TTC entrance opened up yet?
Oh, I don't know.
Every time I go into that one on Dundonald, there's always characters hanging out,
Oh,
making things fun.
that's unfortunate. Yeah. The parade wraps up at Nathan Phillips Square, right?
I believe so, yes. Dream tips and beauty. I think you could use some tips.
I need to grow some hair first.
Shroomies. I was doing a video in Parkdale and I noticed there was one of those dispensaries opened up there. I think that one was called Fun Guys.
Yeah, I've seen that.
All right, so where are you leading me? Are we staying on Yonge or are we?
Well, how about we walk down to Church, and then we'll go south on Church,
Okay.
and then back over to Yonge at some point.
Either College or Dundas Station. I don't think we'll
Yeah.
go more south than that. So this is east on Wellesley. This is where I finished up my live stream on Friday. So what'd you think of the parade?
Yeah, it was good. It was lots of marching bands, you know. To me, like, the more marching bands there are, the better it is. And there were quite a few of them I found, so I enjoyed it for the most part. It was longer than I was expecting it to be.
I think hearing bagpipes in person is a pretty awesome experience. It's one of those instruments that, like, if you put it on the radio, I would turn it off and threaten to throw the radio out the window.
Right.
But when you're there in person, it's just, I don't know, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And there wasn't like a whole lot of copyright music, which I appreciate. More traditional music.
Yeah, I think it was a good event.
Yeah.
The next big parade, I think, well, there'll be an Easter Day parade, which is in April, isn't it?
Yeah.
I covered that one last year. I might be away for that this year. And then there's Pride, of course.
Yep.
That one is copyright music hell.
Oh yeah.
I
didn't even try to stream that one last year.
Also, there's such a big crowd, there might be like a connection issue like on New Year's.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the biggest one of all, the Santa Claus parade.
Which I have never recorded or streamed yet.
I did that one twice last year. I streamed near the front of the parade, then I got into transit and I went all the way to where it ended.
And you had a huge audience, right? When you
Yeah.
were- yeah. Maybe this year I'll try to get that one.
I think that one in particular was really fun because a lot of these kids hadn't experienced that in several years. Some of them had never experienced it.
Right.
And we are at church in Wellesley, right in the heart of the village. So I think we're going to go south here. All right. I remember walking through here with you and the other Ken.
That's right. And we got Craig's cookies. I think that video is on my channel, I think, right? We each did a separate video for our triple
We
collab.
did.
Yeah. The other Ken being Action Kid.
Action Ken.
Action Ken. There's Craig's cookies right there.
I believe I walked by their Parkdale location as well on my video.
And the cookie was fantastic.
So what video do you have in store for tomorrow on your channel?
Well, I have a little bit of a backlog to choose from, so
Oh, it must be nice.
yeah. So I might do one of my early morning walk-arounds. I did record one of those recently, walking around downtown at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm thinking I might go with that one.
How many videos do you have in your back pocket?
Oh, just a few. Not that many, but enough to kind of take the pressure off, at least for today.
And on days when you stream, you don't post a video, right?
No, not usually. The odd time I have, but usually I don't.
Like if a sudden blizzard breaks out.
Right. See, now that we're walking, I don't even feel cold anymore.
No, not really.
Like my hands, my feet, everything's fine now. It's just my nose is the only thing. The running of the nose.
I often go home after recording and I have a little list of times on my phone of when I sniffled during my video. I have to
Yeah.
go back and carve those out. I can just picture someone listening to a video with their headphones on and this microphone that's
Yeah.
a few inches from my face and I'm sniffling.
I just try my best to not do it, which usually results in an unpleasant situation. But at least it's not visible on camera, right? So
The worst is when I'm on my bike or scooter in this, because it's just a faucet that doesn't stop. So were these condos planned together? These two here?
no, they weren't, but I think they both turned out pretty well, though.
And there's just enough space, and I think the design of the balcony in the southern one kind of wouldn't annoy me so much that this one blocks your view. Hopefully that's like the case with One Bloor East or One Bloor West and the one going up beside it.
At least a restaurant is going at the base of this one and not like another useless bank or something. Like that one on the other corner has a bank.
I hate that. If I was in charge of zoning, I would make banks
Yeah,
be on like the second floor of buildings
Yeah.
or not on a prominent intersection corner.
because remember that used to be a popular bar on that corner.
Yep.
And
There was
now,
quite the outcry when it was announced that it was leaving.
now that corner might as well be dead.
Same thing happened in Midtown. There was a popular block of retail. There was a few bars in there, a lot of stores. Now it's like a Scotia Bank
Yeah.
and a Dollarama. I mean, I'm pleased about that part.
Okay, now do you want to take Carlton or Dundas back over to Yonge?
I feel like I just took Carlton in a video.
Okay. Dundas it is.
All right. There's Maple Leaf Gardens. Maybe if we can get around this herd of people. Or not. All right, here's a question for you as someone who roams the city as much as I do. What's your biggest pet peeve about other people's behavior?
Oh, definitely slow walking, blocking the sidewalk, stopping in the middle of the sidewalk, all of the above. Walking three abreast.
I think it's the 2 or 3 abreast on a narrow sidewalk.
Yeah. Or
And
the-
when the person on the far left, which would be the far right for oncoming people, isn't aware and like looking around and actively getting
Right.
out of the way,
They're oblivious. Yeah.
Like, if you're doing that, cool, but you should be moving aside for anyone coming in your direction.
Oh, for sure. And also the weavers or the wanderers who don't pick a lane, they just sort of drift into your path no matter how much you try to get around them, you know? It's like, can you walk in a straight line? Like,
Well, they're often smartphone zombies, right?
yeah.
I think my number one is still bicyclists on the sidewalk.
Oh yeah. Like food delivery
Anyone.
people? Ugh.
They tend to be the worst offenders because they're often on like e-bikes.
Yeah. And they're on a mission. All they care about is getting to their destination. You know, they're trying to make that money. So they don't give a crap about
Like if
anyone
this guy
else.
is riding a city share bike where he belongs on the street, you in your battery-powered e-bike surely can ride on the street as well.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that. But it's easy to nitpick the bad. Most people are good and decent. We still live in a big, friendly city.
Yeah.
And we are at Gerrard. You know what? Let's take Gerrard over.
Sure.
How's that?
It's something
We'll
different.
split the difference.
We haven't done that really in any other video that I can think of.
And then we'll still get a slice of Yonge or Yonge and Dundas. On the left, we have Rye High. TMU. That name has still not stuck with me.
No.
They should have just called it the Met. Toronto Metropolitan University.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they just didn't draw a shape and say, this is our name.
I think that's what it will come to eventually. If they keep having to redo or rename places, that's what they'll have to do.
Someone was once offended by that shape 40 years ago. We must change the name.
Right?
This is an interesting parade of beeps and sirens.
Yeah.
It's the R2-D2 of ambulances.
And did you notice over here they put up a second crane now at the site of the Concord Sky? So things are happening finally.
Neat. And as much as I dislike Concord for the generic blandness that is City Place, I'm pretty stoked that they took over this project.
Yeah, otherwise it would have sat there as a huge giant hole for who knows how long.
And I think what they're doing is even better than the previous developer.
I'm hoping since this is supposed to be their biggest building yet, that they'll put a little more, you know, effort into it. Kind of make it worthy, you know, like of a signature building for them.
There's some renderings of it. Adding presence in Toronto's skyline. Let's see. Pretty ununique tag. It looks pretty neat though.
Yeah.
It's certainly going to be prominent. It's either 85 or 95 stories,
85. Yeah.
but 85 residential stories.
Yeah.
So that would be like, what, 60 office stories?
Yeah, around there. It's going to be 299 meters, 1 meter shy of super tall. But some people have pointed out, though, depending on what side of the building you measure, you know, the elevation from, on another side of the building, it actually hits 300 meters. So you could argue that it is technically a super tall.
Is 299 meters under 1,000 feet?
It is, yeah.
Oh, so you couldn't use that metric either. Because
No.
typically people say 300 meters or 1,000
I
feet.
think even 300 meters is still a bit under 1,000 feet, but it's just a nice round number that they use to still qualify for super tall.
Well, I missed the big slice. I will welcome craning my neck up and looking at a skyscraper. If you can't tell, me and Ken are fans of skyscrapers.
Yeah.
I'm also very pro affordable housing, but realistically, on a dense corridor where there's a subway line, this is exactly the place to build this type of building.
Oh, yeah. And another tall one is going across the street over there, where you can see they're doing some prep work with that old building.
And my biggest gripe, aside from not having affordable units, is the way the retail meets the street.
Yeah.
I really like the older retail, where stores, basically your storefront is a giant canvas, and you
Yeah.
can,
Like the fine-grained, you know, retail storefronts of the old commercial buildings, you can't really replicate that with like a condo podium. You just can't.
where it's like insert your little sign here.
Yeah.
It's very cookie cutter. But some aren't so bad. Like this isn't so bad, although this isn't a condo storefront.
Right.
But yeah, you can't replicate what's across the street there.
No. Like you could, it would just cost a lot, I guess, more than they're willing to put the effort into.
And it would probably look a little unauthentic, kind of like the side of the Eaton Center along Yonge Street.
Yeah.
They tried to make it look like a bunch of retail stores,
Yeah.
like it happened organically, but
You can tell it's not. Yeah.
and the fact that none of those stores have entrances and doorways open to Yonge Street. Some of them used to.
Yeah. They tried at least.
It's the World Food Market.
And Dave's Hot Chicken is coming across the street. And we got copyright music, so maybe I'll talk
let's just
over it
keep
as we
talking.
pass by here. This is like a minefield here, this part of Yonge Street. Especially like at night. It's just one music blasting establishment after another.
I once had like a guy in his Harley get me a music copyright. He just rolled up to like a stoplight blasting music. If you wanted a fake ID that wouldn't pass anywhere, this used to be the place to get it.
Yep.
I still have yet to go to Little Canada. Oh, the Believe guy isn't there.
No.
So I think we're gonna wander into the square and sign off.
Have we passed the magic 30-minute mark? Yeah.
We're almost at 40.
Wow, okay.
Got a nice little walk out of it.
Yeah.
And huge thanks to Ken for tagging along.
Hey, my pleasure.
Normally we do one video each, but
I'll save mine for next time. It'll be a nice little IOU.
all right. Don't worry, I'll still get him to do one with me right after that. But here we are at this weird, whatever you want to call
Optic.
it.
It's called Optic.
I want to see Ken spin one.
All right. let's do it. Because now I have my hands free. Last time I came here, I had my gimbal, so I couldn't really do it properly. All right, ready?
You're supposed to dance a jig to it. And on that note, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you to the Ken Continuum for
It was a pleasure.
walking with me from the ROM, making our way through downtown over to Yonge and Dundas Square. There'll be a link to his channel in the description and probably the title of this one, as well as Sepand, Yahia, and Alex Gets Around TO. If you wish to support what I do on YouTube, there are links to my YouTube channel membership and Patreon membership in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing below these videos as well. All right, I can't see if the camera's pointed at us or not. There's quite a bit of glare, but thank you for watching. And as Ken always says,
We will continue.
will we?
Maybe.
Yoink.